Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told out of Voice Radio. So today, well, I've got wonderful news, ladies and gentlemen. A pop-up Pokémon Center is opening in London. How cool is that? The answer is extremely cool, ladies and gentlemen. Extremely cool. Now, there are still several questions to which we do not know the answer, though I've got some good predictions. We'll get into them as we go through the video. But most importantly, at the moment, some images have gone on to Game Press, and they show a pop-up Pokémon Center in London. Look at the mascot. We've got proper job English gentleman Pikachu. He's got the bowler hat with the Pokeball logo. He's got himself a nice little jacket, tie, shirt combination with Pokeball button, Pokeballs on the ties. Weirdly, he's going all Donald Duck and not wearing any trousers. I couldn't get away with that in London. Evidently, Pikachu can. And he's even got himself an umbrella. No English gentleman is complete without an umbrella. With a side duck handle. How cool is that? I mean, first order of cool, get to the Pokémon Center, get the Psyduck umbrella, get the Pikachu plush. I don't know if there will be a Pikachu plush, but it'd be a massive missed opportunity if there wasn't. I don't know if there will be a Psyduck umbrella, but again, it would be a massive missed opportunity if it wasn't. The other image that we have here is of a mock-up of roughly what the Pokémon Center will look like. I do enjoy the fact that they've basically got rain. Just saying, look, it's Britain, it rains a lot. The only other thing we can see is a little image of Pikachu inside, where he is taking off his bowler hat. And of course, any fine English gentleman should always be taking off bowler hat to greet people, especially ladies. Don't be mad at me, ladies and gentlemen. I am going for stereotype traditional English gentleman, which it very much appears to be Pikachu is aiming for. So this is great news. So why do we think it's going to be a pop-up store? Obviously, a permanent Pokemon Center would be significantly better. This looks like it's going to be a pop-up store. Why? Well, first thing, the Game Press images are described as a pop-up store. That's what they refer to it as. Incidentally, I should give a shout out to Eurogamer here, whose article I did also use while putting together this video. And so the fact that it's a pop-up store is slightly disappointing. But the other reason we should believe it is a pop-up store is because they did this a couple of years ago in Paris. And when they did that, I tried to go, ladies and gentlemen. I could not make it work. But they did a pop-up Pokemon Center in Paris, and unfortunately, it didn't last all that long. It opened on June the 4th, 2014. It closed on June the 21st, 2014. Now, that Pokemon Center was actually quite disappointing at the time. It had an exhibition of illustrations, and there was some merchandise brought over from the Japanese Pokémon Center, but at the time I remember it being reported in the news as frankly disappointing. Now, you can't always take comments on Facebook as absolute red, but some of the reviews here include totally disappointing and a good example of how not to operate a Pokemon stores. I think that's the typo. Totally lack of stock, typo, combined with poor choice. The gallery section was interesting, but they totally missed a trick by not selling art prints in poster or postcard form. Also, massive long queues to get into the store, more than a 2-hour wait. And doesn't look like the Japanese Pokemon Centers at all. Only a few plushes and sold out after just 2 days. A complete disaster. Now, that's not to say that everyone was entirely disappointed, and having a Pokemon Center in Paris was awesome, but it wasn't filled with a whole bunch of exclusive merchandise and all of that. It was generally quite disappointing, and it only lasted a few weeks. So why did they have it in Paris last time, and why are they having it in London this time? And the answer is Pokemon Sword and Shield. You see, Pokemon Sword and Shield is based in the Galar region, and the Galar region is very much based on the UK. So it would make perfect sense to have a Pokémon Center opening in the UK in advance of the release. And it makes perfect sense that it would therefore be in the UK, given that that is essentially the location of the game. Now, to put it into context, the Paris Pokémon Center opened in June. That was 8 months after the official release of Pokémon X and Pokémon Y on October the 12th, 2013. And they were set in the Kalos region, which of course was very much based on Paris, or France as a whole. So the point is, what it seems to be that they're doing is they are opening pop-up Pokemon stores in the appropriate regions for the new games as they are coming out. We had Paris in 2014. We've got the UK now. Now, I've talked about the disappointment from the Paris Pokemon Center, but I have, quite frankly, a lot of reasons to believe that this is going to be so much better. Including, but not limited to, look at the timing. The timing here is so much better. Last time it appeared 8 months after the game. This time, it appeared, well, looks to be appearing around the same time as the games. Now, we do not have a date, because it hasn't been officially announced. What we have are some images and hints. We know there's going to be a Pokemon Center in London. Incidentally, pop-up is not confirmed. We'll hit that at the end. I'm incredibly convinced it is a pop-up store. Now, we know it's happening in London because we've got the image, and it is actually being teased in, well, it's being released in bits and pieces on Instagram and Twitter by Pokemon UK. There has not been an official announcement yet. I would be extremely surprised if this wasn't a November opening. And the reason, very simply, is that Pokemon Sword and Shield is coming out officially on the 15th of November. So why would they not have this opening? Again, this is just a prediction, but why would you not open this store on or around the 15th of November so people can go and buy their release day copies of Pokemon Sword and Shield in a Pokemon Center in London, which is essentially where the new games are based? I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me that doesn't sound amazing, and I may indeed have to call you a liar. So what do I think is going to be a pop-up store? Paris, quite frankly. Paris was a pop-up store. And Paris was essentially done to celebrate Kalos and Pokemon X and Y. This is being done to celebrate Galar and Pokemon Sword and Shield. Why would it not be a pop-up store? The other thing is, if it wasn't a pop-up store, I would imagine the announcement would be a bit more substantial rather than being teased. You do little teasers like this for a temporary fun thing that you want everyone to get to. If it's going to be a proper store, which is going to be sitting there for years and years to come, then you do an announcement in newspapers and such, and it's a far bigger thing. That's the way these things generally tend to go. As it stands, the only places that actually have proper stationary full-time Pokemon Centers are Japan and Singapore. Now, you can argue that there are Pokemon Centers in the US, but it's a fairly spurious argument. There are in Washington a couple of, quote, stores, but really they are vending machines. They're not really the same thing. There was a Pokemon Center in New York. However, it has since been rebranded as a Nintendo store. Went there on my honeymoon. Brilliant place. Absolutely loved it. But I think calling it a Pokemon Center is a little bit disingenuous. Given that we've literally got a bunch in Japan and one in Singapore, in the airport, I think it's probably fair to assume that permanent Pokemon Centers are going to be few and far between, unless you're in Japan, where there are literally 11 of them. I know, right? The jealousy is real. So we assume it's going to be a pop-up store. That is not confirmed. We know it's going to be in London, though the exact location is unbeknownst to us at the moment. We don't have a date, and we don't have any information about what it is actually going to include. It looks like it is going to be a better, more substantial version than the one in Paris. It looks like they've learned from some of the perceived mistakes. I never went there, I can't speak for it, but the reviews I read at the time were not great, and what I've seen since, again, has not been ideal. But it looks like things are happening which are a little bit more substantial, and it looks like this is going to be awesome. Either way, I am definitely going to be going along there when it's opened, and I don't usually do vlogs, not like that, but if you want me to do a vlog, let me know. I'm kind of excited to do one. I probably will anyway. As it is, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. You can support and get exclusive bonus podcasts. Come on, that sounds like fun. And do please make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we cover a whole bunch of other games, because they're fun. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.